In the last video, we discussed the start about integers and what they are. So they're positive and negative whole numbers. One thing you need to get a grasp of is what do you do when you come up with two signs that are going to be attached to each other. And we're going to start off with just this small concept that you'll come up across a lot in algebra later on. So it's a little bit of a early introduction to that. But it's the idea of having something that looks like this. So 5 minus, then brackets, minus 6. Now, this may sound really strange, but we can put a 1 attached to this bracket. And what that 1 means is you're multiplying 1 by here. So when something's attached to a bracket, all you're doing is you're multiplying the two things. And the reason why we can put a 1 there is if I'll show you here, if we multiply 1 times minus 6, you still get minus 6. So it doesn't make any difference. The 1 we never actually write there. It's always kind of an invisible one, but I'm putting it there just to make a point about something. So if we forget the 5 for a second, we've got a minus 1 times a minus 6. And in algebra, we have this, this rule. So it's minus times a minus is equal to a plus. A minus times a plus is equal to a minus. A plus times a minus is equal to a minus. And a plus times a plus is equal to a plus. So that might look a little bit confusing, but if there's two minuses, two negatives, you get a positive. If there's a negative and a positive, you still get a negative. This is also negative, a positive and a negative, you get a negative. And two positives, you keep the positive. So you'll get used to doing that. You just got to keep it in your head. It's a little bit of just kind of getting used to that idea. But if we take that into account with this question here, we've got a minus 1 times a 6, minus 6. So a minus 1 times a minus 6 becomes a plus 6 minus times a minus. So that's 5 plus 6 now, and it's equal to 11. So 5 minus minus 6 is 11. 5 minus minus 6, is 11. Let's do another one of those just to get used to it. So say we have a 3 plus bracket 2. I'm not going to write the 1 this time because it's a little bit, there's no point. We have a plus times a minus, plus times a minus. A plus times a minus gives us a minus. So we're going to still have a minus. 3 minus 2, and 3 minus 2 is 1. We'll do one more. 7 minus minus 2. So we've got minus and minus multiplied by each other because they're stuck to the bracket. Minus minus is a plus. So that's 7 plus 2 is equal to 9. So an easy way to remember it is two negative always give you a positive. A double negative. Think about it in English. If you have two negatives, you always get a positive. The term not unlikely. So something that isn't unlikely is actually likely to happen. And that's something that sometimes it's like a bit of a brain teaser to try and get your head around those double negatives sometimes. But if you can get used to minus times minus is a plus, minus times a plus is a minus, you'll get used to that idea that two negatives get a positive. If a negative is ever involved with a plus, it's always a minus, and then two positives just keep a positive. And there's your multiplying of signs. So now that we have just a sign there, let's think about it when we actually have a number. So we have two numbers stuck together in two brackets, say a 7 and a minus 4. We just learned that when things are stuck together, brackets, that means we multiply the brackets. So we've got a plus thing. We don't write the plus, obviously, but it's a positive number and a negative number. So let's look back. We had a plus and a negative gives us a negative. So we're going to have a negative. And then we just need to know what 7 times 4 is. And it's 7, 14, 21, 28. So minus 28. So it goes for every kind of set of numbers that we have, is that when you have, it's just these rules again, but with our -1, because I already showed you there's a -1 in front of that. It's just a little tricky thing. Let's think of another one, maybe -5 times 4, or -4, go with. So you got a minus times a minus, a double negative gives us a positive. So we're going to get a plus, and 5 times 4 is 20. And we don't obviously have to write that plus, but it's just a 20. And the only other thing is when you are dividing as well. So let's say, let me find one. Yeah, minus 36 over minus 4. So again, the same rules follow as the multiplying. If we have two minuses, we usually get a positive, and 4 into 36 goes 9 times, so it should be 9. It'll be minus 36 over minus 4 gives us 9. So it's the exact same with the multiplication. It's just the different signs give you a plus, the plus and a minus give you a minus, and so on. Let's do this one, 75 divided by -5. So we've got a minus number and a plus number, so we're going to have a minus, and then we just need to divide. 75 divided by 5 is 15, so we get a -15. So the most important thing to take out of this is this square here. And if you want to write it into your books or something, it's a really good way to just have it at the front of your book maybe, and just turn it over if you're confused and just look at it again. It's something that you'll get used to. You'll use it all the time throughout maths, so you'll get very used to doing it.